Hi, I am Prince Obasiaban, and today we'll be talking about my book, The Fourth Dimension, Beyond Space and Time. Imagine that you were taken to the top of a high mountain somewhere, and from that mountain you could see all of existence. You could see time in the three perspectives from which we observe it as: the past, the present, and the future. In other words, you could see clearly what happened, what is happening, and that which will happen. Imagine if all these things are shown to you, the past, the present, and the future, in one continuous flow of reality. There, my friend, is what we like to call the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is a theoretical level of existence from where all the conditions of this third dimension are unified as one, where there is no beginning nor an end, where all things are unified into one continuous flow of cause and effect. Did you get any of that? Here is a simple example. If, for instance, I am in my office doing some work and I start feeling thirsty, and I have to leave my office to the kitchen where I'll get myself a cup of water, and from where I'll return back to my office to continue my work. A simple third dimensional explanation of that would be that in the past I felt thirsty. In the present, I am drinking water in the kitchen, and in the future I will go back to my office to continue my work. Right? But in the fourth dimension, it is not so. In the fourth dimension, this explanation exists: that I am in the kitchen drinking a cup of water which is the effect of the cause, which was that I got thirsty in the office, and the effect of satiating my thirst in the kitchen is going to be seen by me returning to my office to continue my work. So you see, it is about a cause and effect, a cause and effect. There is no past, no present, no future. It's about one situation fulfilling all the conditions necessary to move to another level. So it's about causes and effects. So what do I mean by one condition fulfilling, by one situation fulfilling all the conditions to move to another level? It's simple. If, for instance, while I was in my office working, I felt my bladder get filled up, obviously, instead of going to the kitchen, I'd rather go to the bathroom or the restroom, and that would lead to a whole other different series of events, different from what would have happened if I had moved from the office to the kitchen. Thus, it's about causes leading to an effect if all the conditions have been met. As third dimensional beings, we have trained our objective minds to observe reality in terms of space and time. In other words, moving from point A, which you could call the present, to point B, which you could call the future, happens in such a way that you who is moving from point A to point B will not know what is happening in point B until you get there, right? From point A, you are in the present, moving to point B, which is in the future. So until you get there, you will not know what the future holds, like literally. But the fourth dimensional reality argues otherwise. You see, at point A, which is the present, it is possible to determine what point B is all about. And as three-dimensional beings, we have to physically get to point B because we experience reality as space and time. But in the fourth dimensional existence, if you fulfill all the conditions that are required to move from point A to point B, you automatically get to point B. So even from point A, you know what point B is all about. If you meet all the conditions at point A, you automatically go to point B. The important question, therefore, is where is the fourth dimension? And how exactly can we get there? You see, fourth dimensional beings have to understand position by where, but that is not how it is in the fourth dimension. You can only assess the fourth dimension through your vibrational frequency, which we call awareness, and your mind. For instance, what is the future of a person who puts his hand in a flame? Simple. He will get burnt. But assuming that we bring a primitive caveman that existed in, say, 00 BC, and we ask him, what happens if you put your hand in a flame? He will be fascinated at this glowing phenomenon that is bringing out warmth. But since he does not know what fire is, because of the time when humanity didn't have fire, so he does not know what fire is, and you are asking him what is the future that may happen if he puts his hand in the fire. Because of his ignorance and low level of awareness, he literally has to move from point A to point B. But the person who has a higher level of awareness and a more enlightened mind will know that you don't have to move from point A to point B. You don't have to put your hands into the fire before you know that it will burn you. Even by thinking about that activity, you will know that someone puts their hands in fire will burn them. That is an example of fourth dimensional projection in our simple everyday existence, and it's about the complexity of your awareness and the level at which your mind vibrates from. Now, we know that at the level of existential physics, quantum physics, and theoretical physics, it is quite impossible to differentiate between what we call as normal physics with what we call magic. So, fourth dimensional projection can also be observed in the people that are capable of foretelling the future, the so-called prophets, or the people who are able to influence the activities, the events of tomorrow just by the things that they do today, or those who can foresee events that are going to happen because of the conditions that are playing out in the present. You see, all this is an example of the fourth dimension, and there are people who have mastered the fourth dimension. They tell you to dream it, to envision whatever you want to do, And if you can see it in your mind, then it is possible for you to do it in reality. That is the fourth dimensional projection. You project with your mind and with your awareness what the future will bring, and you automatically begin making moves to ensure that the future is the same or very similar to what you envisioned in your mind. So that if I tell you today that, hey my friend, I'm going to start a multi-million naira company and in 10 years time I'll become a millionaire, you might think, well, I can't see what you're talking about. But by the virtue of me envisioning it, seeing it in my mind, I am very sure that if I follow the same patterns, if I meet the same conditions, I can tell my future from this present moment. So this body of knowledge and much more is what you'll get in my book, The Fourth Dimension Beyond Space and Time. So get yourself a copy. The link is below. Thanks.